Welcome to Kavana, the podcast where we cover every issue under the sun
and are ready to tackle any questions or issues
in everyday young adult life. Welcome again, I assume. Today we are talking about being sick as young adults. It seemed very fitting for both of us because somehow, magically, we both got sick. Not really sure how it happened, but Tori got sick out of the blue.
Yeah, sure, sick out of the blue. You didn't at all give it to me.
I mean, you have no proof.
Why'd I have to take a sip of your coffee?
and I took a sip of yours actually as well.
Yeah, my stupid caramel drink from Cinnabon. That was the biggest waste of $5. Don't get the caramel drinks at Cinnabon.
Yeah, you wanted the Oreo one.
Not worth. Yeah, the Oreo one's really good, but the caramel one is shit.
Shout out / not shout out to Cinnabon.
Everything else at Cinnabon's amazing. Like, I love Cinnabon. I was just really disappointed with this caramel drink that cost me $5.
Sponsor us, Cinnabon. Oh,
Cinnabon, sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us, Cinnabon. V will say she loves it. She'll say she loves the caramel. Okay.
No, I can't go back on that. It was shit.
You can't, not for nothing. You gotta carry the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. So anyway, first I thought we would segue from our first episode, because we mentioned seeing It Chapter 2, which we did see.
That's right. We saw that over the weekend.
Yes. What did you think?
I gotta say, I enjoyed the first one better. Something about, like, the kids kind of overcoming their fears, basically, and defeating, it. I really loved it, but
I think there was a lot of confusion.
I just, like, I felt like I couldn't connect with the adults as much in the second one.
And I found there was a lot of confusion. Like, the guy who stayed in Derry, he just had, like, a lot going on and was not making it clear to everybody else. Yeah, it seemed like there was always, like, a sudden, let's have a plot twist. And you're kind of like, okay. Suddenly he knows something again. Like, there was some of that, I think. But I really did like it, but I can't decide. I haven't seen the first one in a while, so I'm not sure which one I prefer.
Yeah, I saw the first one literally the day before we went to see the second one.
But you'd seen it before. You were just watching it again.
Yeah. I was going to say something I forgot. Oh, right. I was going to say, I didn't really like how it also kind of went back and forth from when they were kids to when they were adults, when they were, like, each looking for their token or whatever. How it basically added scenes from when they were kids that we didn't see in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if it went back to scenes that we had already connected to, rather than just trying to fill in
that's interesting.
more story.
I appreciate seeing...
That wasn't there before?
Yeah, I think in contrast, I actually kind of appreciate when I get to see something new. But also, I hadn't seen the first one recently, so I wasn't sure which kid was which adult. So I appreciated those scenes because I was just puzzling them all together.
I basically figured out who was who by pitting them all to their
names,
stereotype or quirk. No, yeah. I still don't know any of their names except for Mike because he's a black guy.
Oh, yeah, token black dude. Yeah.
But I know the others as the one with the stutter, the Jew, the germaphobe.
I knew,
and the fat kid.
I caught on to the germaphobe thing and Billy pretty regularly. The only thing, and the girl obviously. But yeah, I had some confusion there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I liked it. I found the first one had moments where it surprised me, so I would jump. But I didn't really have that with this one. God, my sickness creeping in. I finally got some of that cough syrup that I absolutely hate. Because I have a presentation tomorrow.
What is it, Buckley's?
No. It's like, it's like the regular stuff. I just hate any and all cough syrup. It makes my stomach turn.
Yeah, I'd much rather take a pill.
Yeah, but I needed that coating effect fast sort of thing. So it is what it is. Yeah, I hate it. It makes my stomach turn so much though, but I was like, I've been coughing like I've got whooping cough at this point. Like I can't do it anymore. I feel like my body's squeezing like a tin can. So
I've been coughing up phlegm all day. My coworkers thought I was throwing up in the bathroom, and I was just like coughing up phlegm.
and mine's turned like orange at this point. I think I'm dying.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Green over here.
But yeah, so that segues perfect into us talking about.
It's not easy being green.
Oh Jesus. It segues into us talking about what we wanted to talk about, which I figured this is exactly why. Let's just jump our other ideas and go right to being sick and tired, because that is exactly what we have been for about a week.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had, 10 minutes to myself.
Oh, yeah. We spend too much time together, though, and so as soon as one of us is sick, the other one's sick is the problem.
Oh, yeah. So
it fits very well. But it fits in, too, because I thought, let's talk about... basically how, we're sick in body and of the bullshit of life, but it's really changed when you're younger. Like when you're younger and you can't just convince your parents to skip high school. Like you have other things to do now. Like you have work or you have, college that you can't just leave. And like I find even with retail, it's almost harder to skip out of work than when you have like a career office job with like a team. Like you can't just work from home, or have like a regular job. Like you have a select amount of shifts here and there and you need those shifts. And then with school you can't just skip it either because you miss like a bunch of stuff. I mean, that being said, I've also had to miss a couple of days of school now, but you really have to look ahead and be like, okay, can I afford to miss today? So that I think is where things
I remember
changed.
In high school, even in elementary school, I did it so often. I would pretend to be sick just because I didn't want to go to school, and it was so easy. It was just make some weird gagging noises in the bathroom, flush the toilet, tell my mom I threw up, and I got to stay home.
Yeah, there you go. And you don't realize repercussions of any of that.
No, and like my mom would stay home with me. She was a secretary in a high school, and she would, she'd call in sick, she'd stay home with me, and I didn't realize the kind of like repercussions that my faking sick for a day was causing the rest of the household.
Yeah.
But now, like, I understand, even from my daughter getting sick, I have to stay home, or myself getting sick, I can't call in sick from work. I need to make money. I work hourly.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta pay rent.
Yeah, so that goes kind of into basically what I was going to say is some of the difference with us from when we were younger. Like I used to feel bad for missing high school, but at the same time, there are just days where you just don't want to get up, and there wasn't as much consequence to it. Yeah. Like you'd be behind on some things, but it wasn't the same. Now,
at least in high school. In high school, I wasn't really affecting anyone else, but I would just like play hooky, sleep in, not go to school, and I was only really affecting myself and my own future.
Yeah, that's just it. You affect your own future. That's the thing, and but it's so much easier at that time, and you don't think about how different it is, and it's like you can skip out of school sometimes a lot easier than with work when you join retail and you join work and suddenly you get hit with this massive responsibility. And it was like you'd be home for being a teeny bit sick or you weren't feeling up to it, and now it's like I'm going to work with food poisoning. Because it's like you can't afford to miss that shift, or no one can take your shift, and they're pretty much like you're screwed and you're responsible if that store isn't open. So it's almost harder. I mean, I don't have an office job, I couldn't say, but I usually, my mom would, work from home before she started doing it regularly because of the shift at her work. But basically, like, you have a team, right? Or you can just cut out in the middle of the day and be like, oh, I'll be right back, I'm picking up my kid or something. Whereas with retail, you can't do that. You can't just take off. So it's almost harder being sick as a young adult working in retail. You really can't take that time. Whereas office jobs, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like it's not great.
No,
but at the same time, you can leave.
Office jobs are also contracted, and they get like X amount of sick days. for the year, and they're more like salary based rather than getting paid on the hour.
Yeah, they get sick days and they can just cut out of work technically. Like if there's an emergency, they can go pick up their kid, or they can be like, all right, I'm gonna need like 3 hours off on Monday in the middle because I have to go do something. Like whereas you really can't do that with retail. Like for young adults, it really is, everything is just a massive pressure between college and university and retail work. There really just isn't a chance for you to just take a break. Like it really happens when you're younger, and then it just goes all to shit when you're in the middle, and then as you get older and you get a career job, things slow down again. And I think one of the toughest times in your life is definitely like early 20s. It's when you're supposed to have the most fun, but I feel like it's one of the times you have the hardest of times, for sure. It's just I
remember in high school calling in sick. I'd like whatever I missed, I'd like get some notes from my friend or whatever. I'd find a way to catch up. It was just one day. But if I miss a day of work, I might not be eating that night.
Yeah, because it goes based on shifts, right? You get paid. I mean, I'm sure it's the same everywhere, but for sure in Canada, you get paid bi-weekly depending on the hours you actually work. Yep. There aren't, paid sick days.
I actually get paid by the minute.
There you go. I get paid by the hour, yeah. And, like, my place doesn't even do overtime. So there are times when I come in early to open the store.
We won't do overtime either.
Yeah, I come in half an hour early to open the store, and I don't get paid for that time. Or the extra time it takes me to close.
All of our schedules got changed because one guy had too many hours, and they didn't want to pay him overtime.
Yeah, and they don't want to pay benefits. That happened to my brother.
Yep.
They changed, because he was the only one working at the store, they changed the actual hours of operation at this little specialty store just because they didn't want to pay him benefits. Like, it's crazy. They will cut corners anywhere, and anytime you are not there, you are not being paid. And it really does. If you're, like, it helps that I do room and board with my parents, obviously, because it's just more affordable. For me, it's more comfortable, and the majority of the time I'm getting along.
I call in sick from work, and that's money out of my pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I might be able to afford doing that kind of thing. You can't, but in my case, you could also lose your job over it, right?
Yep.
And I want to keep my job, so it's, or you screw over a whole team.
A lot of the time, there's only two people working, and it's not a one person. It's not a one-person job. One person cannot manage the entire store by themselves.
Yeah, so you get older and take on that responsibility as well that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely the first half where it's very much relating, because it's like, what can you do? But we definitely relate. Anybody else out there who's going through the same thing, it's we definitely relate on two different spectrums, because I have, the living at home, but I do need to keep my job because I have to pay for school majority myself. And then you have the other spectrum where when you're moved out and living on your own and you have other responsibilities and you need that job as well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go into some advice and young momming it when you've got that kind of thing going on, but we have a word game to get to lighten the mood of our sickness. So we're going to head on to our word game.
Time for the word game. We pick a theme and each take turns saying a word that relates to that theme. Your job is to guess the theme based on the words we're saying.
Wine.
Champagne.
Beer.
Blue Lagoon.
Orange juice.
Manhattan.
Apple juice.
Peach juice.
Pineapple juice.
Huh? Pineapple juice? Grape juice.
Milk.
Water.
Oh, yeah. Kool-Aid.
What are those chubbies? No, they're like those little
Coke then.
Your Pepsi.
They're on the other end.
I'm a Coke drinker.
Oh, God, would have been Crush.
Dr. Pepper.
Root beer.
Ooh. Fanta.
Sprite.
7-Up.
Mountain Dew.
Oh, damn. The porn star.
Oh yeah, chocolate milk.
Ooh, good one. I know so many cocktails. White Russian.
Vodka.
Rum.
Margarita.
Tequila.
Whiskey.
Rye.
Energy drink.
Scotch.
Fruit punch.
Rockstar.
Rockstar's an energy drink.
You're just covering all energy drinks? Okay, coffee.
Yeah, would inconvenience me.
Little
Tea.
bit, huh?
Tea.
What's a screwdriver?
Cider.
Black Russian.
He's throwing them out there now.
Yeah, White Russian's a thing, Black Russian's a thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Not fair. You're a bartender.
Come on, another cocktail. I have one more up my sleeve.
Why did I come up with this? Oh, what's another one? Rosé.
Brown cow.
Oh yeah. Kahlua.
Creamsicle. There's a creamsicle cocktail.
I just gotta believe in you because, like, at this point, you're just naming anything that has a name. Like, milkshake.
Caesars.
Smoothie.
A drink. Formula.
Really? Blood.
I mean, if you want to go that route, piss.
Diarrhea.
Lemonade.
Vomit.
Saliva.
Bleach. You could drink it.
Windex.
Gasoline. I got more.
I think we should call this one a tie because I feel like we're starting to cross some lines.
Glue. Paint.
Paint thinner? Wet cement?
I mean, you could.
We can go on.
Rain.
Rain is water!
No.
The ocean! It's salt water. It's different.
Sewer. If we're going that way. I just want to see how much we can go.
Ooh.
This is more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Battery acid.
Toilet water.
It's just more water.
No.
You couldn't let me say Rockstar when you said energy drink, but you could say toilet water
I
after
said
water.
when it's convenient for me.
Only when it's convenient for you. Okay. Espresso.
Gel. If you melt it.
Nail polish.
Melted wax.
That would dry real quick. Pickle juice.
Embalming fluid.
That juice in a hot dog bag.
Oh my god. Grease.
Oh my god. Really runny snot.
You're pulling. But I guess you can swallow it. And come. What now, bitch?
Ooh, a zombie.
Zombie?
It's a type of cocktail.
Oh my god, of course it is. Brain fluids.
Can't think of any more cocktails. Nigori?
What?
Someone literally on Friday, someone ordered a cocktail. I think it was called a Nagari. We didn't have it on our list. And she's like, well, here's how you make it.
Okay. Sweat.
So we're back from the word game. Lots of fun. Definitely lightens the mood a little bit. I wanted to jump into just completely getting rid of all of that joy and going to, what for you do you feel it was like, the differences for being a young mom and having, being sick? Because to me it feels like my mom can't be sick because she needs to be there for everything. But also for you, it's like you have, like we discussed, you can't just leave retail. But also, like, if your kid gets sick, then they make other kids sick so fast because she's young, and you run the risk of her being sent home. And then what do you do? Because you can't just leave your job. So would you have, like, an experience like that or advice, or what do you think about that kind of situation?
My daughter never actually really got sick as a baby. She, basically got the sniffles a couple times, and that's about it. Having only just started school, this is the first week she's starting to get sick, and luckily I haven't had a call home. I haven't had a call for her to come home yet, so I haven't had to, take that time off work or, be there for her, or even see if, her dad could stay home with her. So I haven't really crossed that bridge yet.
Have you thought of what you might do? Like, what kind of plan you might have in place if that would happen?
But I've talked to the owners at my store where I work, and, they understand. They all have kids, too. They understand, kids are sick. You gotta be home with them.
They're willing to let your daughter come in to work even when you couldn't find a babysitter. That was
they would let her come into work. They just not when she's sick, because we're a kid's store. She'd be spreading that to all of our customers.
For sure, but at least there's that as far as the babysitting front.
But at least, luckily for me too, I also have help. There's her father who could possibly take a day off work as well, and my boyfriend who, depending how many hours he's already worked, could possibly stay home with her. But it's definitely not easy, and especially for the single parents out there, shout out to you guys who can, be sick and still take care of your kid and go to work and, be super mom or super dad. For sure. It's a lot. It's a lot to put on yourself, especially when you're sick and you're tired and you just don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah, I think
you have to.
Worst case scenario is basically it would, because you can always call me as well to see if I can go get her, and I'll do the best I can. But it's and I've gone over and babysitted her before when it was needed. But it's definitely it's good to have friends and have backup family and things like that.
Oh yeah.
But it can.
It takes a village.
Oh, it does. It really
takes
does.
a village. Do not be afraid. Don't feel the mom shame. Reach out to people if you need it.
Oh,
because it takes a village.
My neighborhood, you can yell mom or dad and a bunch of grown-ups turn around, because all the kids in our little neighborhood all hang out together, and it's like the parents are just taking turns watching them.
Yeah, in the middle of the road too.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, but when the parents are actually out watching them, there's one woman who's really good at watching the kids, and the other parents are kind of here and there. But it was funny because I was telling Visaria, when I was watching her daughter, a woman had come out, and I was working at a head shop at the time, which just sells accessories for pot, not actually pot. And she recognized me, so that means 1, she has a small kid, 2, she was shopping there, and 3, she decided, you know what, you're already babysitting a kid, so you can babysit my kid too. I'm just going to take off because I recognize you from the head shop. I was like, what? Fair enough. You know me. I am a responsible person. I did watch the hell out of those kids, and I was probably more concerned than she was, and I was very prepared. I had juice boxes. I had the whole thing, down packed. I was ready for anything. But at the same time, to just make that decision, but it's I guess it depends. How many kids do you have at this point? I hear you have a bunch of kids, and eventually you start to not care as much. I don't know. But it was an interesting experience. I
only have the one.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience. If parents go easier on the amount, depending on how many kids you have. But yeah, no, it interesting choice on her part, I have to say. I was not expecting that. But yeah, so goodness, my apology. So I guess kind of comes around to what sort of like, for people who are maybe just starting to go into college and work and things like that, or being a young mom or young parent, whatever, what kind of like tips or advice we have. I think the one thing that sticks out to me is I always used to rely on coffee, which could be great, and I still rely on it, but coffee can really dehydrate you, and I didn't realize that coffee was a dehydrating liquid. Someone had mentioned it to me. So that's one thing. Tea hydrates you a bit more, I think.
Hydrate. Drink plenty of water. It's an old thing everyone will tell you. But seriously, drink plenty of water, especially if you're phlegmy. Oh my god. The past 3 days.
Oh yeah, me it's just like a switch between a wet and a dry cough. And it's just consistent, and I feel like my body is being squeezed like a tin can. It's ridiculous. And I would say too, get to know your team when it comes to retail. It took me more time because I don't work with them. I see them in passing quite a bit. But you get to know your team and just be prepared ahead of time. Like, you always have to call early before your shift. You can't really call the day before and be like, I'm going to be sick the next day. That doesn't work. You can't do that. Whereas, like, when you're younger, you start setting up the whole I'm sick and I don't want to go to school the next day. Like, the night before sometimes. But
yeah, I've done that.
Oh, yeah. You start setting that up. But for work,
night before it's I just feel a little nauseous. I'm gonna go to sleep, and then the next morning, I'm throwing up in the bathroom.
Oh yeah. But we all do it. But yeah, it's basically but call as early as you can the morning before. I think the only time you run into issues when you're opening the store early in the morning. But yeah, always try to call ahead. A lot of the time, be prepared, because managers should be responsible for finding the replacement, but a lot of the time they'll tell you you're responsible, and you have to message all of your coworkers to ask them. So I think one of the first things I always do when I go to a new job is I either find a sheet with everyone's numbers or ask for them, because you're really going to need them. And I think I'm always so anxious when I first go in, and then to ask for everybody's information, but you're asking for phone numbers in a different way. You're asking it in a work setting, and it's necessary to have them.
Yeah.
One of the first things you want to do.
I'm lucky where I work. I didn't have to ask any of my coworkers for any of their numbers. We're all in like a work app, and I can message them all through there, asking them to cover my shift.
Yeah. For me, they had it written down in a little spiral notebook. But yeah, so one of the first thing you want to do, introduce yourself, get everybody's numbers down, write your number down, so you can try and switch off, and always offer to switch a shift. I wouldn't start with just, can you take my shift? It would be, if you take my shift today, I'll switch with you on one of yours. That's always a really good way to go. Yeah. And as for school, it's have a decent, at least it doesn't have to be a best friend, but someone that you know that will collect notes for you, and always check your boards. See what days you can maybe miss more than others, I would say.
Yeah. See if there'll be if there's anyone in your class who takes notes every day, or
yeah, that always works sometimes. And going into school, like college and university and stuff, can be really anxious too. But I mean, I made one of my best friends by just sitting next to her on orientation day. We talked for a little bit, looked at our schedules, realized they were similar, and was like, we were in the same group, and I was like, hey, want a new best friend? And she's like, yeah, and I didn't think it was gonna work out. We're best friends to this day. So it doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does. And she seemed like she had her shit together, and I was very much right. And she really, really helped keep me afloat in that first course that I turned out really hating. So it's a process of just approaching people, and I learned that really fast, having to be in journalism and approach people quite a bit. So it's just approach people, pick the right people. A lot of the time, always remember to email your teacher before. At least that's the case from the courses I've taken. You have to email your teacher before and let them know. And then they'll be sometimes
I never
more
emailed
lenient.
my teacher.
I was bad for doing
The only time I emailed my teacher was when it was like a lab that I knew I would have to make up some other time.
Yeah, I'm bad for doing it, but it can help to do it ahead of time. Do as we say, not as we do. It can help to email ahead of time, then they can be a little bit more lenient a lot of the time if you explain the situation. And then they know ahead of time that you might be behind and need notes. That kind of thing, and always check your notes. So do you have any...
I slacked in college, so don't listen to what I did.
Do you have any advice kind of for any of that kind of stuff?
When I tell stories of what I did in high school, do the opposite. Or when I tell stories of what I did in college, do the opposite. Hell, the same goes for high school. I wasn't smart. That's not true. I was really smart. I just made poor decisions. Made poor decisions.
Like, I did the stuff that you just couldn't bother to do.
I'm really smart, which is why even by making these poor decisions, I graduated with honors.
Yeah.
I'm smart.
I graduated with honors
not
because
life smart.
I tried really hard, so it was, you know, like, yeah. So definitely, and I think that's pretty much, that just is what it is. You've got, do the best you can, approach people when you can, map out your situation, the people, and just be prepared for anything. It's the best thing you can do. Yeah. And hang in there, because if anything we've said relates to you, and I think it does relate to a lot of people, it is really difficult when you're, you know, a young adult. I do think that, you know, I don't know much about having an office job, and you can't always skip out on it, you know, I agree with that, but I definitely think it's a lot harder with, you know, retail work and school, and the only thing you can get is retail work, and so maybe it's not the best advice, it's more just, we totally understand you, hopefully that helps out, you know, like, you're not in it alone, there's a lot of other people who are struggling with it too, and I've gone through periods where I feel like I'm just absolutely drowning, so, but it works out in the end. Eventually, you just gotta remember, you know what, I'm gonna get where I need to go, and that's just what words you gotta live by.
Yep.
So I think that'll pretty much be it for our second podcast. How you feeling about it so far?
Good.
So enthusiastic. Well,
I know. Sorry, I'm. Like I said, it's been
so
some busy
sick.
couple of days. Very eventful couple of days.
Yeah.
So I'm very much drained.
Well, yeah, especially with that story with work. Oh my god, that was a hell of a crash bang.
Yeah, we had cops and firemen all around the store all morning.
Yeah. Did you?
It was also a slow day, so they probably like shoot away customers.
Oh yeah, that's probably it too. That definitely happens. Did you want to tell what happened with that case?
Yeah. Although the cops were laughing because he was just such an idiot.
Well, did you want to tell the actual story of what happened to wrap us up? Because we didn't actually explain the story.
Sure, why not? It's still filming? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was at work this morning, and I work at a clothing store beside a massage parlor, and our walls are made of glass. Someone next door, right around the time that we opened our store, he went in to get a massage, came out, went to drive away, and instead of putting his car in reverse, he put his car in drive, and he drove straight into the windows of the massage parlor.
He was too relaxed. He couldn't handle it.
Oh, yeah.
He got that full body high.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice. My coworkers heard a slight bang, and they're like, what was that? And I'm just like, what was what? I was just so focused on my tedious whatever I was doing.
You guys got
I didn't even notice what was going on.
You guys got the kind of walls I need just to block out sound.
Oh, yeah. Until, like, all my coworkers are rushing towards the door to see what happened, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to continue working while you guys are, you know, seeing what's happening. I'm going to go and I'm going to see what's happening, too. And, yeah, lo and behold, like, half of the front bit of the car is in the window of the massage parlor.
Oh God! And it didn't affect your store at all, though.
So, oh yeah, like there was a bunch of cops that showed up, a bunch of firemen that showed up, and of course they couldn't park in front of the massage parlor because, crashed car.
Yeah.
So they parked in front of our store. Shooed some customers away, ran away business,
but at least
laughing their butts off over the dumbass that drove his car through a window.
But at least
and then came in, can we use your bathroom?
Are you serious? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, all the cops that were laughing and shooing away our customers comes in and goes, can we use your bathroom? We've been out there for a while.
I mean, I feel bad, but at the same time, like, what are you doing? But at least no one in your store was hurt, and there was no damage to your store.
No one was hurt. Like, even the driver was fine, and the receptionist at the massage parlor was fine. I went out and had a smoke during my break later, and I could hear everything that she was talking to their clients about what kind of massage they wanted, and yada yada.
Oh my God.
It's like, how do you continue to run your business after that? You have no
walls.
Big
hole in the wall. You have no
it's
wall.
like, no, not a hole in the wall. They had no more walls.
It wasn't a hole in the wall place. It was no wall. They took it to the next level. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, you would just walk down the sidewalk, and suddenly it was like you were in the middle of the, like, massage parlor's little office foyer waiting room.
At that point, do you just leave the door open and put up a sign and say, please use the other hole instead of use the other door? Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. That's amazing.
Yeah, because I wouldn't bother, if I was going, I wouldn't bother opening the door after that. I would just step through the hole.
I just stepped through the hole. Jesus. It always kills me in games.
You die in there?
Like, yeah. It always kills me in video games when you can't walk through the massive hole. You need to go through the door, like a pre-approved path. Yeah, like, dude, are you kidding me? I could have just stepped over that debris.
But, or, like, you couldn't just, like, step over a log that went past your ankle. Like,
you and I should play The Forest. That became a 2-player game. I think that would be fun if we played The Forest. My brother tried to get me into
game?
it. The Forest. I'll have to check it out with you.
The Forest.
But for now, we will end this podcast, and maybe we'll come back with The Forest if I can get Tori, or maybe we'll come back with The Forest if I can get Visaria into it, and see what it would think. You'll have to check it out. I think you might actually like it. It's very much people end up playing it and having a good time just laughing their asses off about it.
Yeah.
And bickering over it, so it's the perfect thing for us.
I'll check it out.
All right, so thank you so much for listening to us again or for the first time, and hopefully we will be back soon with another episode. And we are trying to submit eventually to iTunes, so maybe you can download and listen as you go. I think...
Oh, right. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and tune in later for another episode of Covenant.
If you like us here on Covenant, subscribe to our podcast or channel. Feel free to send us comments, questions, and suggestions either on YouTube Wonderlander or the email xxwonderlanderxx@gmail.com.